why do we find so few Gnostic texts, or so many Gnostic texts, or pieces of them? Well, do we? We have this thing. Gnostic is a label that the church, the early Christians, put on other early Christians. And I won't even say the church, because it's not like any of these people. I mean, in the beginning, the Ebionites, the Gnostics, the early Catholics, they all called themselves Catholic. The first break was probably with the Judaizers. Pretty much was the Judaizers. And then you had people following Paul. The most Gnostic texts you'll find, the text that the Gnostics used, sometimes exclusively, was Paul. That was their guy. Just look at the reason why we have 4 Gospels. These accounts, the actual accounts aren't really written with an agenda. They just, I mean, you could say, well, Mark wasn't. Well, I guess every piece of writing is written with an agenda. They're trying to convey a message. So Mark and John are written. I believe that Matthew's Judaizing version of Mark, and then Luke comes along and says, no, Mark was right after all. But Mark is just a minute by minute, blow by blow account that he went here and then he went there, and it doesn't, there's not a lot of teachings in Mark. But the idea, I find it, I don't know that many people still spout this crap now, but then again, stupidity never seems to surprise me. People think that the Gnostics are somehow anti-Pauline, which is ridiculous. It's like saying, like, you know, Jewish Nazi would be more of a, I mean, there actually were Jewish Nazis, but anti-Pauline Gnostics. The closest you could maybe come would be the Mandaeans, which are very, very late. And talking about the Mandaeans as they exist now, even though they got all their ideas from Paul. But you learn about things like the way me or James at Pander's Box or David P. Witham or Gambler learns about anything. You go back and you read the early patristic writings. They don't all agree with each other, and they constantly talk about who they're arguing against. And a lot of them are polemical, which is great because you can see both sides. And then a lot of times you have another guy stepping in, you can say, oh wow, that other guy that we call early church father, this later church father, kind of shows that he was really just trying to slander the other side. Now there's really wild stuff like, what is it, Julius Sextus Africanus and all his astrology and all that crap. But what gets labeled as Gnostic now is all the creepy stuff. It says, oh yeah, I mean, these things will start out like this. Everybody knows that's what Jesus said, but he said this secretly to John, and John then told it to my teacher, who told it to me, and we're the only ones that have salvation.